Prison guards of Reddit, what is the most extreme thing you ever saw happen in your prison? A family member and I used to work at the same prison and the prisoners knew we were related. My family member got into a minor car accident and had a few weeks off work to recover. Word got out about it to all the prisoners and I constantly got asked how I was coping because they all heard it was super serious. It wasn't. While one was asking me what happened when we had a lockdown code so everyone had to go back to their blocks. Came to find out in the incident report that a fight had started because two prisoners heard two different stories on what happened to my family member. Couldn't agree. Started a punch up and got the whole block of about 80 guys brawling. Whole place got locked down for like 10 hours. All because my family member can't drive. That's actually kind of wholesome. I guess that's a word for it. One of my former teachers used to provide mental health services in the county jail. She said the worst thing she saw was an inmate who went insane. He was quiet and polite, and doing a small amount of time for a minor crime. But then, he got in one small fight and was moved to max, and something in him snapped. He decompensated so quickly that by day 4, he was smearing fesses on the wall and singing nursery rhymes. He was taken away by ambulance and was never seen again. Solitary confinement is cruel and unusual punishment. Many of its aspects are literally torture. A guy trying to smuggle in a carton of cigarettes under a fat roll. That is not a typo. A carton, not a pack. That was just the decoy carton. There were 2 cartons under another roll. I did a bid in Florida about 4 years ago. While I was inside, they let my cell block come into the common area to watch the iHeartRadio Awards. Never would have watched it on my own, but it was nice to have the distraction. This was the summer that Ariana Grande had that One Less Problem song, and she performed it right before JLo came to the stage. Now, I'm in with mostly Puerto Rican inmates, so JLo being on was a big goddamn deal. Some dude just loses his shit during the Ariana Grande song. Some of the dudes said he was into little girls or something, and throws a very lightweight plastic chair at the TV. Didn't think it would do much damage, but it busted the LCD. Hell broke. Loose dudes were gonna get a chance to see JLo's ass, and they wanted blood for it. I ran my gringo behind back to my cell, and a 60-man brawl ensued. All of this to say, in the midst of the insanity, one guy bit another guy's thumb off, and swallowed it. There's been way more flesh eating than I expected in this thread. Not mine but my dad's. First day he was there, a riot occurred because some dumbass prisoner thought it would be funny if he stole a book from a prisoner and blamed it on someone else. Long story short, the guy who was blamed had all 4 of his limbs broken and his face beaten to a pulp. Apparently they already had beef between them. Edit. Details. Bro, it was only a prank. Haha, yeah, I bet that YouTube level bullshit goes over very well there. Exclamation point. Bro. I only grabbed your balls for a prank. Look. There's a camera over there in the corner on the ceiling. I used to be a corrections officer. I found an inmate beaten up and his neck snapped in the gym one night. Gave him CPR until medics arrived, but he was too far gone. You okay? Seeing death that close up affects people in a lot of ways. It definitely took a while since it was so jarring. I'm good now though, thanks. No, a prison guard, but I work in a psych hospital. Worst thing I saw was a man fingering his stoma in his stomach so hard it was bleeding. He was repeating "fuck me" in the pussy as he fingered it. Couldn't get that shit out of my head for a few days. As I was trying to pull his hand out of his intestines, he was looking deep into my eyes and begging me to fuck it. That guy was a mess. The amount of stories I've read on Reddit about stomas being turned into fuckholes is too damn high. My dad was a pay officer in the prison service for a couple decades. He has a few stories. One that I always remember was about there was this one kid who was about 16 but he was about 6'4" and built like a tank. He also had a bit of a temper. One day when my dad is supervising the gym workout, he looks over towards the benches and this kid picks up a 34kg dumbbell, lifts it above his head and starts to swing it down onto another inmate's head who is laying on one of the benches. My dad manages to sprint over, grab this kid and pin him against the wall, just in time to stop him from killing the other inmate. At this point my dad is thinking if this kid wants to fight, He is probably going to win. But luckily he had a good reputation, so the kid didn't fight, but also other inmates alerted other guards. If he was able to carry through with that swing, that inmate's head would literally have exploded. There is no other outcome to that. It was straight up attempted murder. Nothing ended up happening with the kid. The prison head didn't deem it to be much of an issue because no one was hurt, so my dad brought the 34-kilogram dumbbell into the meeting to show her. She didn't care. Ignored it because it makes her prison look better on paper. I feel like I'm the type who would definitely have that dumbbell fall on my foot as I try to stop the kid. Props to your dad for saving a life. I have many stories, and many about this particular prison, but one stands out to me the most. Doing a count one day, everyday stuff, and it involves looking through trap windows to make sure everyone is present and breathing. Get to this prisoner cell. Let's call him Prisoner X. Now this prisoner has a long history of sexual abuse from his childhood. As a result, he is an absolutely chronic masturbator. The amount of times I've had to have conversations with him while he is going to town on his ham bone are innumerable. Anyway, doing a count with a female officer, she looks through the trap and immediately recoils. Now all I can hear is a loud buzzing sound and the sounds of furious masturbation. I decide to check the trap against the warnings of my offsider. Should have listened. Turns out he was using the unit's air clippers, but he had them wrapped in a glove, turned on and shoved squarely up his ass. All I could see was the cord plugged into the wall leading into his loudly buzzing anus and him giving his old fella the exercise of its life. Edit. Yes, fuck. I understand I never ended up referring to him as X. I thought I would at start of the story, and then didn't. I'm gonna leave it up there though, because I can actually take criticism as well as X can take a pair of clippers. Working in the air, we had a prisoner come in unconscious and covered in blood. We got him cleaned up and counted at least 12 stab wounds to his head and face. They were shallow, but the force caused the wounds to look like gashes, so sticks or staples were out of the question. He had even more wounds on his arms from trying to cover his head during the attack. We couldn't save one of his ears and he was still unconscious when I clocked out. Update. According to an employee that still works at that hospital, the prisoner was transferred to a trauma center the following morning. He had multiple fractures and spinal damage. Apparently he was a snitch and got jumped by other prisoners. Please don't leave us hanging like that. Did he pull through? How is he now? Did he provoke the attacks? I don't know any details other than he pulled through. He was a big guy with tattoos and it was assumed he was attacked by multiple PPL. Don't know why, but they were definitely going for the kill. An inmate with mental issues and have sliced his stomach open with a razor. Line was from below sternum to just below belly button. Survived. But man, it was ugly. With all the serious ones, I thought I would give a funny one too. Worked in a youth correctional facility. The units were Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, etc. On Charlie dorm there were 3 openly homosexual youth who were way over the top when it came to stereotypical gay behavior, talked in lisps, used red Kool-Aid powder to make lipstick, tied their sweater arms together to make a purse, etc. Well, one day they are walking down the hall together, see me in my office and said, "Hey teach, check this out." Then the 3 of them dropped and did the Charlie's Angels pose. I laughed my ass off. Let's see. Back when I worked in the industry, guy disemboweled himself essentially to get a demon out. He lived. Not sure about demon. His intestines were out of his body and he was ghost white from blood loss. Guy was putting nails or screws up his urethra. Chick hid a can lid in her special kangaroo pouch and pulled it out to try to cut herself after an adverse hearing result. Special kangaroo pouch. Excuse me, what the fuck? Her vagina. He's talking about her vagina. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos.